Father, bless this time that we are going to share together. Edify and enlighten your people. Give them revelation of your word. Help me, Lord, that I decrease, that you may increase, and bring about the result, Lord, that only that you can do. In the name of Jesus, we praise you and we give you honor and glory, and we count it done in advance. Well, this is the day that the Lord has made, and we're going to rejoice and be glad in it. I don't know if you all can remember, but I preached a series, The Black Horse, the horses are coming. And I talked about, in one of the messages, or a few of the messages, I talked about the black horse. And so today, I'm going to kind of regurgitate, if you will, a little bit of that, because I believe that although I taught that, or I preached that early this year, it was 2021, early this year, or maybe the end of last year, I really believe that we are seeing some real powerful signs of what's in the scope of that message even today. And so we're going to go and take a look at it. And with this, the objective is to help you to see, because I want to know, are you woke yet? And if you're not, why not? I'm trying to wake you up so that you can see what it is that you need to do from a Christian or a disciple standpoint, that you will be ready for this economic black horse. That's what I'm calling it. And basically, it is a time that is racing towards us, that basically is upon us, and is breathing, that horse is breathing out of his nostrils fire upon us. And for those that are going to stay asleep, it's not going to be a good time for a lot of folks. And so I just felt that it was proper, and it was expedient that we come back and kind of go back over a little bit of what we already talked about, what you've already heard, and then I'm going to add some stuff to that as well to make this cake even sweeter, because that's my intentions. I really want to sweeten this up, because I want us to have an advantage towards the things that are about to come. And so I don't know if you all have noticed or not, but in a lot of different places, the gas prices are upwards almost to $5. Okay, and I'm going to explain this when we look at Revelations here, chapter 5, verse 5 and 6. I'm going to explain that, because I talked about in my part 1, the black horses are coming, part 1, I talked about how you would have a penny or a denarii, and a denarii or a penny, the value of it at one point would be able to get you this much of something. And then because of the changes, the economy, the shifts and what have you, a denarii or a penny was only able to get you this much. And that's what we are experiencing now. The dollar is not at the weight that it used to be. Okay, so things are being devalued. It doesn't carry the same amount of weight for the same amount of substance. You can't get the same thing. And so now going to the gas pumps are, we about to cross the threshold here in the Ohio area of the Ohio, Cleveland, maybe Columbus area, of over $3. You go out west, and out west, some of the gas prices are getting ready to, break the ceiling of $5. So that's a bit different. That's a bit different. The other thing that I don't know if you noticed is that building material costs. So building material costs now, I remember maybe a year ago, a little longer than a year, a sheet of plywood, and I'm not talking about the good plywood, I'm just talking about general everyday plywood that you use to board up a house or use as a subfloor, that type of thing. That was between $13 to $15 a sheet for 4x8, depending on where you got it from. That is now almost $50. And in some places it's $50+ for a sheet of plywood. Did you hear what I said? Plywood. Okay, that is exponential in increase. That is an exponential increase. It's not an exponential growth, exponential value in terms of this is something real special, some type of special quality that they're giving you. No, this is the same stuff that they're giving you. So I'm saying that because I'm trying to get you to see something. We're treading water. We ain't going nowhere. They just charging us more for it. Much, much more for it. Housing. Housing now, for the median price for houses maybe a year and a half ago, was, let's just say in certain states, maybe Chicago, was $500,000. Okay, median price. It is now $750,000 for the same house. Once again, they didn't put no gold in the house. They didn't make no changes to it. It's just that it went up. Now, there was something that affected this. And so what I've been trying to say, and I prefaced the year off talking about the Lord gave me a revelation. And he says, the horses are coming. The horses are coming. And then he said, Donnie, if you can't run with the footmen, what are you going to do when the horses come? And then it came to a point where he says, okay, you're dealing with footman problems. And if you don't have no resolve to that, you're going to deal with the footman problems, but the horses going to be there. And so now you got to deal with everything. And this is where I said that, we are focused so much on some of these systemic issues as it relates to racism and injustice and stuff like that, police brutality. And those are very, very critical to our existential plight as humans, as people, not just people of God, but just people in general. Everybody wants fair and equitable treatment. However, when you look at what the horsemen are bringing, then what you're dealing with as it relates to your existential existence in the space that you occupy is weighted different. The scales go down compared to when the horses come on the scene. And so I made a contrast between with that type of comparison. And so I want to just kind of regurgitate it, if you will, just for a few minutes, because this is critical, y'all, and this is on us now, and we're going to see it more and more pronounced. We're going to see it more and more pronounced. It was a theme of mine that the Lord gave me at the beginning of the year, and I rode this for a while, which was all the horsemen, the pale horsemen, the black, the white, and the red. I rode these for a while until I felt like y'all was getting tired of it. But I really, it's something that's in here. It's in here. And I want to give it to you because every horse has an aspect of what's going on right now, and they run in tandem. They run in parallel with one another. And each one affects us in a different way. And it's not so much like the black horse runs and then the pale horse falls back and the red horse falls back. No, the red horse is running right now along with the black horse. The pale horse is running with that. Even the white horse is mounting, but it may not be as critical or making as much noise, or it may just be subtle. But they all are riding, okay? And I talked about this as it relates to the end of days and the end time. So when the Bible talks about it in Revelations, keep in mind that the book of Revelation is the revealing of Christ. That's what it really is. And so when we talk about it, we talk about it from different aspects, okay? And so some folks are going to deliver it from a traditional perspective, and I understand that. I'm not ascribing to that at this time, but I do understand it. I'm giving it to you in real time, what the Lord is saying to me as it relates to right now regarding these horses and what they're bringing with respect to our national and international body of things that are happening to us, for lack of way to express this. And so let's just talk about this economic piece, because in that is going to be very critical. I've been talking to you guys about how to kind of get your finances together, and you're going to need to know some of these things that I'm going to talk to you about, because you're going to need that advantage. And it's not going to be enough for you just to be a Christian, but you're going to have to be a Christian of excellence. You're going to have to be a Christian with knowledge and the wherewithal to be able to withstand this battle, this hit that's coming. And so that's kind of where I want to get to. And I know I probably talked too much about that, but I just wanted to go back and give a little bit before we get into the nuts and bolts. All right, so the book of Revelation, let's start at chapter number 6, verse number 5, and we'll stop at verse number 6. Okay, verse number 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. Now, black is always indicative of a time of being, it's grievous. It could be egregious, or it is a time of mourning. So anytime that you see black in this type of context, it is not suggestive of something that is good. If you see something white, white could mean something very good. It should mean something good or something that is pure. Now here, as it relates to this text, and I may be getting ahead of myself to a little bit, it could refer to Christ. When we look at the white horse, it could refer to Christ, or it could refer to the Antichrist. And I'll get to that at another point in this message. Maybe not today, but I will get to it as we look at these horses. The black here is indicative of something not good. Okay, so it was a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. So now balances is something that we use to justify, and even some theologians said that it was a part of this text represented the justice system. Now I differ with that a little bit, and I differ with it because of the language of the text, but I do understand it in terms of how do you justify going from a $200,000 property 6 months ago to that property going to $400,000 6 months later. Okay, from a justification standpoint, there is no justification in that. So when you look at the scales and you measure it, this is where this text comes to life at, because now you start to understand the writer and what the writer was trying to intend for us to get. Because in other words, now what that dollar used to be able to buy for $200, now there's another weight to it. And in order for you to get that other weight, then that means that somebody else put a different value to it for other reasons. So we have to understand what is going on in the text, but moreover, what is happening to us as a people. And does this word today have any significance? Is there any relevance to it? I believe that it is. Let's go deeper. And so it says here, he has these balances, a pair of balances in his hand. And then verse number 6, it says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. Now, what is that saying? That is saying that, in short, without making a big to-do of it, is that back when we would get paid, well, back during those times, even our time right now, you could take $1. Okay, I remember when we used to go to the candy store, and you could have $1, and you could get a little brown bag. You could fill that brown bag up with all kind of goodies. I'm talking about Snickers and Milky Ways and all types of candy, this, that, and the other. Now, if you get that same brown bag, and you call yourself gonna fill it up, it might take you $10, maybe $15, depending on what you put in it. Well, a Snickers bar is $1.99. Okay, now this, I'm talking this kid talk when we were small. So in other words, what the text is trying to show us is that the way it used to be, where you can take a penny, and a penny would be able to get you this much of bread, this much of wheat, this much of barley. Okay, now during this time, or during this season, as everything is coming and collapsing upon us, for whatever that reason is, a penny now gets us this much. Now that could be due to the political climate, whatever, or this is the time of Christ nearing, whatever it is, prophecy of being fulfilled, whatever it is, we don't know. All we know is that it could be it's a mixture of a whole lot of things. It's very dynamic, so we can't quite put our finger on this or that, but it consists of a little bit of everything of why this is happening. So the bottom line is that what used to be weighted very heavily to get you a whole lot more now is weighted very light to get you a whole lot less. Now, did that penny or did that denarii change? It did not. It's the same. It looks the same. It feels the same. It has the same weight. It just does not carry the same clout. It does not have the same value attached to it. And this becomes a problem. And this is what we're dealing with today. All right. So it says here, 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the wine. See that thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Now, why does it say here? The writer says that make sure that this season that you're going through, the ride that you're taking, this black horse, this economic downturn, it says make sure that it does not hurt the oil or the wine. Now, the oil and wine was essential to a person's diet. When you look at it historically, when you look at it from a biblical standpoint, it was a part of the diet. But it means more than that. It also indicates that those that could embrace that type of diet. See, because there are certain people. It's like, you tell a person that has a heart condition, and you say, okay, the dietitian tells them, well, you make sure that now you can't eat this and you can't eat that. Well, the stuff that they tell you that you can eat, you got to go to Whole Food stores to get it. And Whole Food stores, the price is way up here. So you already saying, I got this condition, but I don't have that money. I can't support the diet that you telling me that I need to support in order to sustain a healthy lifestyle. So now we got a problem. So even in this right here, what it's saying is those that could support or would have oil and wine at their disposal, what that is saying to us is that those people were set apart. Those people did not feel the weight, the brunt of this horse, what this horse is bringing and what it did bring, as opposed to those that would deal with the denarii or the penny or the barley. So that was the regular people. That was the people that don't heed to this warning. That's the people that are lazy. That's the people that are just churchy and they want somebody just to give them something. Give me this and give me that. And they don't want to do the things that they need to do to prepare themselves for a challenging time. They just waiting around and say, well, God is on my side. And since God is on my side, He's going to take care of me. But the scripture here is suggesting something a little bit different. So you got two types of people. You got one that is caught right up in the thick of it. And so when you look at it, times it's going to get worse for you because, I would have been able to pay to afford this apartment. But because now in my status, I might be getting subsidized and this, that, and the other, whatever it is, it's just a certain level where some people are, where they live at. And that's not to minimize or nothing like that. But when this comes, and it's happening now, y'all, it's happening now. When this happens, the increase is going to come, but your increase does not elevate. Okay, so there's no increase to you. So now, whereas you used to be able to afford $500 for your rent payment, the rent goes up to $650. And when it goes up to $650, you no longer can afford that. So that means that you're going to be evicted or whatever it is, or you're going to be demoted into even a lesser, a more demeaning, more meager place of living. Okay? So that's what that first part of that scripture is talking about. The other one is for those that have prepared themselves. That is the oil and the wine. It says to touch not. Be careful. Don't mess with that. And what it's saying, it's not saying that, not like when the blood was put over the doorpost when the children of Israel coming out in the book of Exodus. It's not that. It is telling us something different. It is saying that this period, you won't have to worry about that if you have fortified yourself. Okay? That means the world, it's a lot of people in the world that's got wealth. And these things are not going to weigh on them as heavily as maybe some Christians that have not prepared themselves. Okay? So you have to look at it and out of that perspective. Even right now, just because you're a Christian, don't mean that you ain't going to fall on some hard times. Don't mean that you won't lose your house. Don't mean that you won't get evicted. Don't mean that you won't lose your car. It does not mean that. Okay? So what what fortifies us from those type of things, protects us from that, gives us the insurance and the assurance. God gives us the assurance, but he also gives us insight to have to insure yourself. The way that you do that is according to Hosea 4:6, where it says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So when you take this, like I'm trying to give you right now, you say, hurry up, hurry up. I'm trying to go as fast as I can because I know it's a lot of stuff that I got to get to you, and you want to get it real quick. The microwave mentality, the microwave type of church and all that. Those are the folks that's going to be out at the margins, on the outskirts, and they're going to be knocking on people's doors and saying, will you please help me? Can you give us something to eat? Can you give us some shelter? Can you give us some clothes? Can you give us some transportation? Can you give us some gas? Can you give us? Right? And I'm trying to help you get ahead of it now. God would not be giving me the message if you didn't have time to get ahead of it right now. But you got to do something. You got to, just like I said in last week's message, but what are you going to do? There's something. It's one thing for Jason to do something for Paul and Silas, but in that message was what God was saying. Now, church, it's time for you to get involved. You've got to do something. You've got to make a difference, not just a difference in the world so we can bring in those that are lost, but you got to make a difference for yourself. For yourself. Now, watch this. People that's out there in the world, and we are trying to woo them to Christ, because the word says, if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men unto me. So what does that look like in real time when we lift him up? Now, I hear so many people talking about Christian folks, and they say, well, listen, if they want me to come over where they at, and they coming to me for help. And I'm a stark sinner, right? I mean, I am the worst of sinners. But at the same time, I ain't begging. I got a house. I got clothes. My kids take care. They live from an appearance standpoint better than we do. A lot of us, right? So then you out and you talking about, you need to know Jesus. You need to come to Jesus. They're saying come to Jesus for what? And that's the thing that we need to always have before us. And that's what I'm trying to get to you. When your presentation of Jesus Christ has got to be more than he saved your soul from hell. It's too many Christians. All our testimony is really limited to he saved our soul from hell. But to walk in salvation is deeper. It stretches much wider than that. Okay, and that's what we got to apprehend. So we don't try to promote this watered down Christianity to the world, and the world looks at us like, that's really not attractive. That's really not nothing that I can see myself subscribing to, that I want to be a part of. Why? Because there's nothing about that denotes that it's better than what I'm doing. So we've got to bring a better presentation. A better presentation. That's the reason why I spent time with when I talked about Peter and James, when they said, look on us. Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. I think it was Peter and James. Such as I have give I thee. In other words, what am I? What are you? What are we presenting? We gotta do something. And if y'all bored, if preaching is getting on your nerve, this, that, and the other, I don't even know what to say to you, because you might as well just go ahead and hang up your robe, hang up everything, and say, I'm just gonna go on back out there into the world. Because my job is to equip. My job is to sound the alarm. I am here to edify, to exhort. I'm here to tear up and to pluck down, but to build also. So I'm a troubleshooter. And I'm trying to get you to see, open your eyes, open your ears, open your heart, to get you from a place to a place so that we can go out there and be what God told us to be. So we can go from Judea to the uttermost parts, that we can make our journey and our travels worthwhile. But right now, it's like we're journeying and we're traveling with no direction, no moral compass, no power, no authority. As we walk through, there's no shadows falling. There's no shadows. When we walk through, dead ain't being raised, eyes ain't coming open, ears aren't being loose so they can hear. The deaf demon going away. These things ain't happening. Feeding the hungry. We say, okay, well, yeah, my church, we do this. We have a hunger drive and we feed. Well, okay, I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking that. I praise and I lift up anything that anybody is doing. If you're doing it good and you're doing the best that you can unto the Lord, I lift that up. What I'm saying is that we serve the God, the creator of the universe, the God, the God of all gods, these little G's, the Lord of lords, the King, capital K, King of kings. That's who we serve. And we are his children. And if that be the fact, if that be true, then we should have a different presentation. We should look a little different. We should move a little different. We should be a little different. We should have a different power. We should have a different authority. And that's all I'm saying. Now, I am going to stop this portion of the message, but don't go anywhere because this is really getting ready to light up, okay? Because I got to get you to what you need to do. And so then in this next portion, I don't know how much further I'll get. We're going to talk about the economic aspects in terms of what you need to do to prepare yourself. Some pastors that I ascribe to, my pastor in North Carolina, he talks about it as a war chest. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit from the standpoint of the war chest and what we need to do to develop ourselves and put the things in the war chest. Why is he talking about a war chest? Because he believes, as I believe, that a war is coming. And I'm not talking about just a physical war, but an end of days war, an end time. The world is changing type of war, in that we have to be prepared because the enemy is marching. Okay, the horses are coming, y'all. All right, so we will park it right there, and I'm going to come back and we'll do something more to this. And but until then, I want you guys to be blessed, and remember this: the worst is over and the best is yet to come. Your quality of life is getting better and better and better, and you're going to live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. Until the next time, be blessed in Jesus' name.